So for the graph of cotangent, let's look at what cotangent looks like before we added a pi over 4 to it. Cotangent of x looks like this. So graph of cotangent, cross that pi over 2 at 3 pi over 2, etc., etc. So we want to keep that in mind because let's first talk about the period of a function. The period of a trig function is affected when you multiply x by something. X is being multiplied by 1, so it's remaining unchanged. So the period of our new cotangent function is going to be the same as the period of the old cotangent function. You go from pi over 2, the function starts repeating itself at 3 pi over 2. That means you've gone a distance of a full pi, so the period of cotangent of x is pi. So the period of this function will also be pi. So that's the answer for the period. And if you need to sketch the graph, plus pi over 4 makes you do a horizontal shift of pi over 4 spaces backwards. So instead of crossing at pi over 2, or in other words 2 pi over 4, we're going to cross at pi over 4 here, because that's pi over 4 spaces backwards. So this is a sketch of our graph. Remember, cotangent of x before we change it crosses at pi over 2 on its first positive iteration of the loop. So going pi over 4 spaces backwards puts us at pi over 4 for its first crossing space. And then since it has a period of 1 pi, pi over 4 plus 1 pi gets you to 5 pi over 4 when you do that arithmetic out. So this is what our graph should look like.